Blanky time. It's almost time for Blanky time. Come along and take our hands. We're going to Blanky land.
Well, Matt,
Well, Stone,
we are here. We are here. We are here. We are here.
we're here?
You know what that's from?
No, man, you always miss me with the
What?
I
You don't know that one?
don't think so.
Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, see, I've never seen that.
Or read the book?
I never read the book.
Really?
No, I read Green Eggs and Ham.
You didn't read a lot of Dr. Seuss growing up?
I read Green Eggs and Ham, and my favorite book was All the Places You'll Go.
Oh, that's a good one. That
But
one's kind of creepy.
it's creepy, but it's so thought-provoking, too. It's, like, so true to life. I feel like he wrote it for someone in a quarter-life crisis. That's go back and
Yeah.
read it in your mid-20s, and it has, like, new meaning. Oh, the waiting place, where people wait for a train to come or a train to go or something to happen, but they just keep waiting,
Yeah.
and they never do anything.
He's pretty deep.
Pretty deep, Dr. Seuss.
I like
loving
his political cartoons that he used to draw, like during World War
Yeah.
II.
Yeah.
Those are pretty funny.
Oh, man.
But in Horton Hears a Who, my dad would use that book at like abortion rallies, like pro-life rallies.
Oh, for real?
You know, because a person's a person, no matter how small.
Dude, your
And
dad
he
would do that.
He would use Horton
can
Hears a
see
Who and
him
be
doing
like,
it.
"So are the Who's in Whoville not real? Just because they're really itty bitty? You know,
That's true.
are they not a person?"
A person's a person, no matter how small. I do remember that line.
Indeed.
Maybe I heard it once or twice. I tried to get the girls to watch the movie
It's
because they
good.
really love the Grinch, the Benedict Cumberbatch version.
Yeah. Jim Carrey voices Horton in the Horton Hears a Who movie.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started it, and then Nora was just like, "Nah, I want to watch Barbie." So
That's unfortunate.
maybe I'll restart it. I'll restart it this week and see.
That's a good one.
Yeah, dude. Dr. Seuss had some bangers. I feel like that's the first book I read to them in the womb was Baby the Places You'll Go, which wasn't written by Dr. Seuss, but it was kind of like his daughter maybe or someone wrote it. I don't know.
That sounds like a knockoff.
Yeah, it's like one of the knockoff things. But yeah, dude. So how you feeling, man?
I am feeling
Sound like you ate a frog.
like a hot load of garbage right now.
Yeah.
Luckily though, my cat gave me good snuggles last night.
Yeah.
I was home alone, besides my cat, 'cause Sarah and her mom, they went to IKEA,
Oh goodness.
and
Like- The closest IKEA is like in Charlotte, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
so they like to go out there and spend a bunch of money, but she sent me a picture of her with their shopping carts. They got like
oh my
3 or
goodness.
4 shopping carts full of.
Yeah, that's a
stuff.
lot. That's a lot. What are they gonna do? Is that for the house? You think? Like,
Yeah, so that was Sarah's birthday present from her parents. Was a IKEA trip.
Dude, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I mean, great housewarming gift too.
Yeah.
Her
It's just
getting
probably
settled
mean
in.
most of that stuff's gonna go in the shop though,
Yeah.
or it might be kitchen stuff. She might be getting kitchen stuff, so it could go in the cabinets.
Did you figure out what you're doing with the countertops? So I know you pulled off all that old crap.
Yeah, we got my parents for Sarah's birthday got her butcher block.
Dude.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So it's the beechwood butcher block, which is typically more expensive than the walnut, but it was like on sale, and
Dude.
so we gotta install that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if everyone in Blanky Land knows this, but you and Sarah both had a birthday in
Yeah.
the last couple weeks. It's
We are byproducts of Valentine's Day.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people in your family are apparently too, because her dad had a birthday. Yeah.
Me
Not
moo.
me, man. Not me. I was the byproduct of the back seat of some car somewhere. I don't know. That's Dad would sit us around a campfire every year and tell us the story.
Really?
No, that would be really messed up.
It's
That's-
it's like Drax in the first Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
right.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, fun stuff.
But Benadryl sucks.
It does. Makes you drowsy, right?
Yeah, Sarah was like, take Benadryl before you go to bed, and I did, and I feel like that's what's making me partially feel like crap right now.
You're still
Worse.
kind of groggy from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this should be a fun episode then.
But I also just took like Sudafed stuff, right before I came over here. So we'll see
Right.
what the level of the podcast gets to.
Oh, it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great. By the end of it, you'll be singing.
Singing, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's what's up, man.
what about you? What's going on in your life?
Oh, my life. We just busy. Kids on the way. We got a new coffee thing where we're doing. So
Yeah.
getting ready to trying to plan for that. And this is a very busy time of year, man. I'm probably a little overextended, but I was looking at the calendar and I've like booked up every Saturday until we leave for Guatemala, and then when we get back, it's Christmas. So
Yeah.
it's like there's so much to do between now and then, and gotta get Christmas stuff together for the girls, and it's a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at managing things. I found out about myself. But life's good. Life is good though. It's been we took the girls up to Falls Lake, did a little hike a few days ago.
That's fun.
It was beautiful. They'd never been out there, so it was nice. And then yesterday
Is it
wasn't
Falls
too
Lake
bad
or
either.
Jordan Lake? That's the nasty one. Because one of them's notorious for being nasty.
I don't know. We didn't do any swimming. It looked pretty. Falls Lake is beautiful. Jordan Lake, I
Well,
have
one of
been
them,
to a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think
one
I
of
went
them-
fishing.
there's been like a decent amount of people die out there.
That's Jordan Lake, I believe.
Yeah,
Because
okay, Jordan.
I had a buddy die in high school swimming at Jordan.
From Jordan?
Hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he went under and they couldn't find him. And
That's tough.
yeah.
You gotta be careful swimming out in the lake.
Yeah, bro.
Wear a life jacket if you're going tubing. Some people do tubing and they don't wear a life jacket. That's just dumb.
That is dumb. What if you hit the water and knock yourself out?
Yeah. I
That's
don't know.
man.
You'll be swimming with the fishes.
Yeah. Swimming with the fishies. Fish food. Well, I'm excited to talk though. It's nice to have this time.
Yeah. Blanky time.
Blanky
coffee
time.
Even though I'm congested, we'll power through
The
it.
coffee will help.
Yeah, the
the
coffee.
voice. It'll happen. Well, cool, man.
So
Well,
what's today's topic?
today's topic? Oh, I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's gonna be interesting because I think maybe we have differing histories on this, but I think it'll be fun to hear your thoughts as well on the lies that our parents told us. Should be excited because thinking back, the older I get, the more I realize there was a lot of stuff that my parents said that doesn't add up anymore.
Like SpongeBob's bad
Like
for your brain.
SpongeBob, like Santa Claus,
Yeah. Easter
I
Bunny.
stayed up all night last year for Christmas, and I
Last
didn't
year?
see anybody.
Really?
Nobody. Yeah, I haven't gotten an Easter basket in like 10 years. I don't know.
They
I don't
forget about
understand.
you after
yeah,
a while.
the Easter bunny just didn't show up. So I'm starting to put two and two together and realize that some of the things my parents told me maybe weren't 100% accurate. Doesn't mean they were malicious or malevolent.
That remains
Yeah.
to be seen.
But nevertheless, they scarred me because I grew up for years believing certain things, and now that I'm looking back, a lot of them were not true. So
Yeah.
What about you? What's your experience with that? Do you?
I have like one main story that was a um. I think it qualifies as a lie that my parents told me.
Yeah.
But the thing with me is I was raised not believing in Santa or the
Right.
Easter Bunny.
Okay.
It's like when we talked about Santa, it was like ironic on purpose. Like, oh, you guys got to go to bed because Santa's coming. But we never like fully believed. Like we knew it was just kind of a joke, right?
Right.
Which maybe I was just more self-aware as a kid than some others.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I'm sure
um,
you had a different perspective.
yeah, but I mean, we would put like cookies out and stuff, but it was just for fun. So that way we would like make cookies, we'd eat them, and then we knew like Papal was gonna eat them in the morning, before
Right.
we got up or whatever.
Right.
Um, but I definitely think it can be damaging. There was a I remember specifically when I was in high school, there was like this kid in like like 7th or 8th grade, and he still believed in Santa. Like his parents were keeping it up still,
Wow.
and like
All right.
um all the kids in his class were about to cook on him, and luckily there was like some like a teacher around, and they were just like, "Hey, just cut it out. He'll he'll
Right.
find out at some point."
Yeah. Exactly. No, that's crazy, man.
But
Yeah.
there was a moment where that one of the kids in his class was like, "Santa's not real," and he was like, "What are you talking about?" Like dead serious, 7th or 8th grader, still believing in Santa.
Yeah. That's
And it's
definitely
sad.
that's setting you up for failure.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like you want your kids to believe in like the magic of the season, but I feel like it can be you know it can be good and bad. Me and Aaron are kind of we're not on opposite ends of it, but like I don't really care if the girls believe or not. You
Yeah.
know, Nora asked me literally last night we were watching a movie and she's like, "Wait, is Santa not real?" And I was like, "Well, baby, in this series, in this show he is, or or whatever, and so like but they really enjoy like the present thing, and so I'm trying to have. Sorry, I'm taking my sweatshirt off because it just got a little toasty. But yeah, I mean, I think it's not terrible if you know they believe in it for a while when they're young, as long as like I mean, I feel like I was like 6 when some kid in school was like, "Yeah, Santa's not real," and I was like, "Oh, that sucks." But
Yeah.
that's not a lie that really damaged me. I would say I was more damaged by the fact that there's
Yeah.
no vitamins in the crust of bread.
Huh?
My parents told me if I cut the crust off of my peanut butter sandwiches,
Really?
that I
Yeah.
would miss out on all the vitamins. But there's no more extra vitamins in the crust. It's just the toasted part of the bread.
Is that like a common thing?
I think so. I
I've
think
never
I've
heard
heard
of that.
other people say like, "Oh yeah, because parents, oh don't cut off the crust. That's where all the vitamins are." Dude, what?
Really?
Yeah, no, seriously,
I
100%.
I
100%.
never
So I
was
believe
like
that for years, literally into my 20s. And I was like, wait a minute. One day it just clicked. I was like, there's no vitamins in the crust of bread. It's literally just the outside of the, like, it's crazy. Yeah, so.
What in your house did you call that last piece of the bread loaf?
Like the butt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we called it the butt.
the butt.
Um,
The bread butt.
I saw this thing where a family called it the hoe because
Oh.
everybody touches it but they don't take it.
That's terrible. But yeah, I mean, hey, the hoe.
Yeah, we called it the butt as well. Yeah, see, there's stuff like that. Like, I didn't mind eating the crust as a kid at all. And when I would go over to my friends' houses as a kid and like their parents cut the crust off and stuff, I was like, what the?
Yeah, like I always ate the crust, but like with Andy and Adam, Andy specifically, Andy was really picky, and he had a lot of peanut butter sandwiches, but they every time they'd have to cut the crust off of it, and yeah, I just remember him like saying, "No, don't cut the crust off. That's where all the vitamins are." So that was like, I mean, what else were they lying about? If they're lying about crust,
Yeah, and you believe that up until your
probably I mean, it's not that I believed it. I just like I never put two and two together until like I was in my 20s, and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. There's no vitamins in the crust because the crust is just the top of the bread. So yeah, bro, could be an error on my part for being too dumb, but also I was like, yeah, and like a lot of harmless stuff like that. I think parents just like
yeah, but
they
then
take the
there's like
easy way out, and they're just like, oh,
yeah, I just feel like that's setting up kids to have a moment like that when they're older. Like, wait, that was BS.
right, exactly.
Like
What else were they
Santa.
lying
Like,
about?
wait, Santa's not real, and it's just this moment, and like I feel like, at least personally, it creates a rift of like trust,
Oh yeah,
like subconsciously.
maybe.
Because
Perhaps.
I was that kid with Santa that was like, Santa was real, but he's dead. And then
Yeah.
there'd be kids like, what?
Right.
And then teachers would get mad at me.
Yeah.
You know.
For crushing other kids' dreams.
Yep.
I get it. Maybe you were just causing that rift between them and their parents.
Well, it was gonna happen one way or another.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, there's a lot more serious things, I guess. When you really think about it, some people maybe have like serious things that their parents told them that weren't true, or especially as it relates to like certain faith traditions. I think everyone comes to that point where they're like, oh, huh. Not that they were like lying to me, but I kind of see this a little differently, or you come to that realization where you're like, oh, maybe this actually played out a lot differently than I was taught.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of unlearn that.
Well, that's the thing with like Sunday school, right? Like all the classic Sunday school stories, they're edited to be more palatable for kids.
Right.
I don't know if that's necessarily wrong or not. I just feel like if you need to edit it so that way it's more palatable for kids, you just need to find like better stories out of the Bible to teach them that doesn't affect that, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of like popular Old Testament stories that are like kid stories.
Sure.
But then you go
Yeah.
back as an adult and you read it and you're like,
Oh,
"Dang,
that was terrible. Yeah. Have you ever seen the Noah's Ark book where all the dead people are floating as the ark drives by? Floats by? Right, exactly. Because there's not one. So it's like, why not? I read this book. I don't know if I talked about it on here or not, but I just finished this book about like teaching the Bible to your kids, basically. And one of the things that it kind of argued against was like trying to truncate Bible stories down to like a moral that the kid needs to learn.
Yeah.
Like the story of David and Goliath. What's the takeaway? Well, David was brave. And it's like, okay, but is that really what's happening in the story? Like, not really. That's not the point. You're kind of like missing the actual point of that
more
God,
about faithfulness.
that God can be trusted, and
Yeah.
He's gonna be faithful to His promise. And so it's like,
And then you get to chop the head off of the giant.
bro, I didn't even teach Eden that story, and she literally she wanted to play David and Goliath, and so she slung a rock at me, like a pretend rock, and so I fall down, and she comes up and she goes chop, and she just like, I was like, wait a minute, where'd you learn that? But yeah,
It was instinctual.
I guess, but yeah, I mean, that's a little more of a serious version, but I mean, you don't think by teaching Bible stories to your kids in a moralistic way is bad, but it creates this like, okay, well, I have to be brave because of this, or I have to do this because God is happy when I act like this. You're happy when I act like this, so I should try and inhibit this character quality. But it creates, as you get older, like moralistic therapeutic deism, where it's like the idea that we can be good enough and we know how to act right so that our parents accept us, our friends accept us, our church friends, and also ultimately God. But then the view we have of God is like the big bad in the sky who's pointing his finger at us if we mess up. And so, anyway, the point of the book was like, instead, find stories that exhibit a character quality of God. Like, God can
Yeah.
be trusted. Like, what's the takeaway from David and Goliath? Well, God can be trusted to follow through on his promise that he's not going to leave us. Like, or, and so, yeah, that's something like in my own parenting, you know, I am very trying to be very intentional about when it comes to like biblical things, approaching it from a way that they won't have to unlearn something down the
Yeah.
road. Where even if they unlearn, like, okay, well, whatever you think about the age of the earth or Noah's flood or pick whatever story you want to.
Or even just something like the fruit of the spirit,
Right.
Where like I think most kids end up learning that the fruit of the spirit is multiple fruits, and each fruit is a different aspect of God.
Right.
But
yeah.
in reality, it's just one fruit because it is all God.
Yeah.
And so,
exactly.
like, it's just little things that seem innocent but can cause a rift.
Yeah, because
at a
I
certain
mean,
point.
instead of like when there is, or there are things that like, oh, well, I don't know what I think about that anymore. Instead of like unraveling your entire faith, you still have like these character things. Like, okay, well, I may not. Okay, maybe that didn't happen exactly how I thought it happened, but God can be trusted.
Well, we know we can trust God, but can we trust our parents?
That's the question. That's the question. So, yeah, man. So, I mean, that's more of a more of a serious thing because I mean, again, I grew up thinking my parents knew everything, man. That they were, you know, but they were in their 20s, like early 20s. You know, I'm in my 30s and I don't know anything. So,
Hmm.
I think the older you get too, like you do understand like there's a lot of grace, especially when it comes to like the big topics and the big things that like our parents may have said, like trying to spare us something down the
Yeah.
road, even if it did ultimately. I mean, everyone needs therapy, right? So, and most of the most of that is because of their parents. So, I don't think any of that is intentional. In some cases, I'm sure, but that's not my story. But I mean, there's a bunch of funny ones too, like that. I think that, like, did you ever try and turn the light on when your dad was driving at night in the car?
Yeah.
You know,
Acts like he's gonna go blind
right?
instantly.
Yeah, or he's like, it's illegal. Turn that off. If the cops see us, they're gonna pull us over. So like, that's not true. It's not illegal to ride with the light
Well,
on.
my dad never did that. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. Or like swallowing your gum. That was another one. You swallow your gum, it'll stay in your body for like a decade or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It's not accurate.
To this day, I still struggle to swallow gum.
Yeah, I don't swallow it still, but I feel like it goes through us a little bit quicker. Or like, oh, I don't have a favorite. We love you both equally.
Yeah, that's
Come
not
on,
how humans
come
work.
on, man. You got a favorite.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
I was the favorite
Yeah,
until my younger sister showed up.
yeah. It's interesting.
One of the main lies that I remember becoming aware of at a certain point was about our neighbors across the road.
Oh,
And it was they were very nice, and they were some really earthy people. One of them did like really cool like metal sculpture stuff, and the other one did like art and painting. And they were Amy and Terry. And growing up, we were just told that they were roommates and that they were, just good friends.
yeah, I'm sure they were
Um,
good friends.
but then at a certain point, uh, you start questioning that, especially when you start learning more about the world, which, is probably a good thing. That way you don't have to have that talk with your kids, especially if you raised them a certain way.
Right.
But that was the main one. It was just like, and I remember multiple times as a kid being like, "Are they married?" And they'd be like, "Nah, they're just good friends."
Yeah.
So that was like the main one. and then, you know, slowly but surely, I think I fully figured it out. And even after I think I figured it out, they still gaslighted me, and didn't verify what I had figured out.
Dang. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of stories that are similar to that too, where it's like, I was like, oh, something doesn't look, that's weird. Why are they, oh, they're just good friends, sweetie. Like, yeah, yeah, but I mean, we haven't really had to have that conversation with the girls yet, so
Yeah.
hoping it holds off a little while.
Well, they keep watching Disney as much as they do. You're bound. It's bound to happen.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's there's a few movies that we don't watch, but I don't know. It's definitely interesting. I've had even like on Muppet Babies the other day. I was
Muppet Babies. You
Yeah.
gotta watch the OG ones.
I turned it off. I was like, yeah, girls, we're gonna watch something different, cause like
Really?
Gonzo wanted to be Gonzarella or something,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, I mean, it's cool, like whatever, no
But it's
judgment,
Muppet Babies.
but don't teach my kids that. Like at this age, it's just it's just interesting to how quickly things are progressing in that area with culture, and it's a lot on
Yeah.
a parent. No wonder parents lie.
Yeah. Right.
There's so many
It's
things.
like, is it? How much do you need to redirect, and how much do you need to bend the truth?
Right,
you know.
exactly.
Another one that was common. It wasn't necessarily a lie, but well, I guess saying that the spells in the movie are real is a lie, and that's why we can't watch it. Is all the Harry Potter stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like we grew up not able to watch Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, I couldn't watch Harry Potter. I still
Um,
haven't seen it. I mean, I started one of them.
Yeah, when
But-
when I got married, Sarah was like, "We're watching Harry Potter," and I was like, "Okay, whatever." So we watched all of them.
Yeah.
Way too overhyped.
I think so too,
Yeah.
based on what I saw. Like, yeah. But no, it was off limits. Like I couldn't even read the books or anything.
But then Narnia was fine, and that's got witches and
Magic.
and stuff.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it?
You know.
The double standards.
Yeah.
I get it though. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother rabbit trail. But I feel like, to like a lot of parents, especially like Christian parents, like as long as something is in like the stream of Christian, then they're like, oh, that's okay, even
Yeah.
if it's literally the exact same thing. It's like,
Yeah.
like yeah, Narnia and Harry Potter, basically.
Pretty
Not saying
similar.
they're the same thing, but very similar.
Yeah.
And like,
Star Wars and Harry Potter, very similar.
yeah.
You got space wizards that can move stuff with their hands, and a young boy that's a chosen one, or the son of a powerful.
Yeah, Star Wars is, I mean, very like based on Judaism, right? Because George Lucas was Jewish. Maybe I have that right. I think.
I don't know.
But,
I know he definitely had like religious undertones.
Yeah.
And, stuff about like Nazism and things like that.
Yeah.
With the Republic, and is it the Republic or is it the
That's
with the
that's
clones
the-
and all that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the prequels. But yeah, There's what else? What other movie was kind of like that? Had,
The
like,
Golden Compass was one we weren't allowed
See,
to
I
watch.
wasn't allowed to watch that either.
I don't even know what that was
I
about.
have no idea.
That
It looked
one,
the same as Narnia to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Spiderwick Chronicles.
I didn't
For some
watch any
reason,
of
we
that.
couldn't watch that one. But I think the lie is like, it's bad because it has magic in it, and then it's like, well, Narnia and Lord of the Rings have magic in it, and that's
Right.
fine.
Yeah, because it's Christian magic, which isn't a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like, and that, I mean, that opens up a whole nother can, but that goes back to like sacred secular type thing, where everything that Christians put out in this little subcultural bubble is deemed appropriate by a lot of people, but there's certain things that are kind of like off limits. So it's like, when I was growing up, the big thing was because we weren't allowed to listen to a lot of music. Like I wasn't allowed to listen to G105 or like any like regular radio stations. It was only Christian music, right? And but you had these bands that were literally like, Thousand Foot Crutch was like the first band that was like I started listening to that was like kind of like pop punk rock, you know, in the same vein as everything that was playing on the other stations. And my parents were like, "No, that's of the devil," like all this, and I'm like, "Wait a minute." But it's in this like Christian bubble, and they're like, "Oh, really? Okay, well,
Yeah.
whatever." But then, it's just like when we segment things. Plus, historically, Christians make terrible art. Maybe not historically, but
No.
recently.
Yeah, recently in the modern era.
The modern era,
Yeah.
since the Enlightenment, Christians have made atrocious art.
Yeah.
Like I saw a trailer yesterday for a new movie that's coming out, and it's by like the same studio that did The Chosen.
Yeah.
It is like the cringiest. Like it looks terrible.
Yeah.
And it's got some big name actors in it, and I was like, but it's the same quality.
Was it the Nativity Story musical one?
No, that looks terrible in itself.
With Lecrae in it?
Yes. Lecrae, come on, dude. And I like Lecrae. I like King and Country, and I think one of the brothers is in it. But based on what I saw, like, I don't think I'm going to be watching it. But
you know what does look good is the Young David animated movie that's coming out.
I haven't seen
It's like Pixar quality
Oh, for real?
animation. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. No, it was some movie called Shift, I think was
Shift?
the name of it.
Ah, Shift.
Yeah. And it's got like Neil
deGrasse Tyson in it.
No, Neil Donahue or something. He's been in a lot of stuff. Like he's been around for years acting and
God's Not Dead? Is it that guy?
No, that's Kevin
Bacon?
No, that's not Kevin Bacon. That's Kevin Sorbo. No, he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in like this movie Timeline way back in the day with Paul Walker. He was like the bad guy in that. But he's in it. Sean Astin's in it. But the whole premise is like, and the girl from The Chosen's in it. The girl who plays Mary Magdalene. So I was like, oh, this might be cool. So I threw on the trailer. It's so cringy and the graphics are terrible. But the premise is like there's a multiverse and this guy has the power to shift people from one planet, like one Earth to another Earth where they made a different choice, basically. So the dude's wife gets shifted, is what they call it. And so he's like looking for her. It looks really bad. But I was like, bro, what has changed? Like, The Chosen's pretty well done. But like Christians just do better, But anyway, that's off topic, kind of. But yeah, I think for a lot of parents, like as long as it was in that Christian bubble,
Yeah.
it was deemed appropriate, like Narnia. But Harry Potter was off limits, man.
Yeah.
But I think like as Christians, like I want to teach my kids to appreciate good art.
And also part of it is just like learning how to filter out secularism,
Right.
in your daily life and not letting it affect you. Like,
Right.
I know a couple people that like they just can't get over if something has language in it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, if you're going to a rated R movie, there's going to be language in it, and you just have to filter out that and appreciate the other aspects of it, right?
Oh yeah, we had this thing called curse-free TV when I was a kid. So we'd be watching stuff, and it would mute
Yeah.
the curse words and like caption it with something else.
Yeah. Darn.
No, not even like the most.
Golly gee.
Like I'm trying to think of like instead of but or other words like that,
Rump.
it would say toe or something. So it would be like, I'm
I
gonna
don't give a
kick
rat's
your
toe.
like or something dumb like that. And then like yeah, it was just terrible, terrible quality. But yeah, I mean I get it though. You want to protect your kids, like you want to shield them from
Yeah.
all the bad things in the world.
I just think at a certain age and certain maturity level, like if you're still super sheltering your kids and making it seem bad, then in the end you're just creating or you're helping to foster a spirit of judgment against others versus a spirit of love towards others,
Right.
you know. And it's like if you can't get over that, then how are you going to be able to be an example for Christ? If that affects, your psyche.
Right. And yeah, it's kind of almost like unintentionally teaching kids that you're better than
Yeah.
everyone who isn't in the club, basically. Um,
So that
yeah,
all
man.
came from the upper class, because curses and things were actually just a part of like common language
Right.
amongst the plebes, and so by teaching your kids or something that you're better than them because you don't do that, is fostering like elitism,
Right. Exactly. Yeah, man. So I mean, I don't know. Thinking back, there's just a lot of times when I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. You remember when you told me this? Like, why would that was? It just seems kind of innocent in a lot of ways now. It's like, why would you. Like lie about that? Just
Yeah.
But then obviously there was some more serious things too, and
One that I've heard that parents do is they say to help get their kids to use the bathroom that the fish need to eat, and if you don't use the potty, then
no, that's terrible.
you're gonna starve all the fish in the ocean.
That is terrible. It's actually terrible, but I may use it for potty training. It's, so I don't know, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of some more really big lies. Just like sweeping under your feet.
Sweeping under your feet?
Yeah, if you sweep under your feet, it's like bad luck or something.
Just like
walking
superstition.
Yeah, like superstition stuff too. Yeah, my grandmother was like really
superstitious.
Really superstitious. So like walking under a ladder, breaking a mirror, stuff like that.
Well, one thing I've stopped saying is I'm gonna say it now, but I don't ever really say it anymore. Is knock on wood. Right? Because knock on wood is just like a common phrase people say these days.
Yeah.
But the origins of it are actually like heavily demonic.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So like in the Northern European pagan areas, right? The witch doctors or shamans or whatever that they had, and so they would go out into the woods and they would summon spirits and demons, right?
Oh,
and
wow.
then they would, once they were done summoning them, they would cast them into the trees around them. That way they couldn't escape. And so it was believed that if you wanted to go talk to a demon or spirit to, help you out with something, right? Like you either want to curse somebody or you want like something to turn out good for you, you would go out into the woods and they would knock on the trees to awaken the demons and spirits in there.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
So now every time someone says knock on wood, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, maybe I should stop saying that then. That's yeah, I mean, did your parents ever, I mean, little ones, like when we were riding in the car, it's like, are we almost there? Yeah, we're almost there. We were not almost there. It was like another 8 hours. But I get it with my kids. Just like there's Cocomelon has made this a little easier because
Oh no.
there's a song and it's like, "Are we there yet?" And so now the girls just say, "Are we there yet?" And I'm Not yet. Are we there yet? Not yet. And then I just keep saying that literally for like the whole ride.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. But it's better than them crying. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Speaking of like Coco Melon, were you ever told that like sitting close to the TV was bad for your eyes?
yes.
And
Yeah.
that, when I was a kid, I would go up to the tube TV and rub my face on it because you know how there was like that thick layer of static.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I do remember. Like standing in front of the microwave, you know.
Oh, is that one?
Yeah, that was one. Don't watch your food while it's cooking in the microwave. Let's see. Or like if a girl teases you, it's 'cause she likes you. Nah, they're just being mean, man. They're just
You,
being
you
mean.
think that? I think
Yeah.
it's kind of both.
Maybe, I don't know.
In my experience, it was both.
Yeah. It's Oh yeah. If you cross your eyes,
I like making a face.
yeah, it just
Yeah,
gets
it gets
stuck,
stuck.
like that. It's
This one's good. The ice cream truck only plays music when it's out of ice cream.
yeah. Yep, that's true. I heard that one.
But anyways, what have we learned, Matt?
That God can be trusted, but maybe your parents can't.
We're all flawed.
We're all flawed creatures.
Yeah.
We're all flawed humans. But the moral of the story is, yeah, I don't really know what the moral is. Sometimes the best thing to do is lie.
No.
That can't be the moral. That can't be the moral. No, let's rethink that. You know what? Sometimes the best way forward is honesty.
Yeah. Well, it's like I think a lot of it came from just parents didn't want to take the time to explain things to their kids,
Right.
and I think that's becoming a shift in culture and parenting is like actually being intentional with,
Yeah. That makes sense.
fostering curiosity in your kids and stuff. And
Yeah.
there
I
are
agree.
there are moments where it's like this is this way because I said so, and I understand it on a way deeper level than you can right now in your 4-year-old brain.
Right.
But
yeah.
I think that's more of a rare case than is actually used.
Yeah, and I think I don't know is a good answer too. Sometimes,
Yeah.
if your kid asks you something instead of just like BSing some answer. I'm not a parenting expert, but that's what I've been trying to do. Is just be like, you know what, babe, I don't know, but let me find out, and I'll get back to you. And like a lot of
Yeah.
times, they're happy with that, Or it's like the big one is like, why can't we see God, or why can't we, and it's like, oh God.
That's where you give them the
You're
wind
four.
analogy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they've been or like, and they're very smart, both of them. And they're all the time like, it's cuz God is always with me. God is always with us, But sometimes they got some zingers where it's like, "But Dad, why is this like that?" And sometimes I'm just like, "You know what?
Daggum.
I don't know, dude." I hadn't paused to ask myself that question. So,
What's a lie you've told them that you know of? Because you're a parent.
yeah. What's a lie that I've told my kids? I've told them that oh man, if they keep screaming at each other, I'm going to rip their lips off. Is that a lie? No. Yeah.
That's a
'cause
threat.
It's a threat. Trying to think. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I try not to lie that much. So,
Yeah.
it's I try to be honest. I'm sure I could think of something, but it's probably related to getting them to eat something in most cases. Because they're kind of, well, Nora is kind of picky. So if I do fib on something, it's usually something food related. Like, all right, babe, come on. If you don't eat that, you're gonna grow, hair between your toes or something. Something like that. But
We just have to sit there at the table till we ate a allotted portion of that.
same. That was I couldn't leave. I was there till 8 p.m. one night, maybe later.
Sitting.
Everyone else had gone to bed, and I was still sitting there. My food was long cold, but I was determined that I was not going to eat whatever it was that they put in front of me. And I was wrong because I did have to eat it. And
did you win?
I was there all night. No, I did not win. I did not win. I was there all night. But yeah, it's so yeah, lying.
It's better to just be honest with your kids for the most part.
For the most, I mean, yeah.
I think you can be more honest with your kids than traditionally is done, at least from like when you were a kid,
Yeah, I mean, the world's changed a little bit,
My thing was I just got gaslighted a lot,
Right. That makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily lying. It was just I still get gaslighted a lot in my family, but it's all
Yeah.
good. I'm used to it. Now that I have a phone, I can look it up and
Right.
prove it, and then they just kind of don't say anything else about it.
Yeah. 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 Right now, I mean, the only thing. Yeah, I feel like. Oh, well, never mind. That's a little deep for this podcast. I was going to get into another lie.
Why not?
I just thought of one, but it's a little out there.
Why? Why not?
Huh?
It's Blanky time, man.
I know. I'll save this one for Blanky time after dark.
Oh, okay.
That's, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think the last few years, like I've gone to mom and dad about a few things. I was like, hey, so what about this? You told me this growing up, and they're like, oh, did I? I'll kind of like brush it off. Are you sure? Like,
Yeah. Get gaslit.
yeah, I built my whole life around this lie. What's like? I've been eating the crust on this bread, like.
Crust on bread's good.
No, I like crust. I like crusty bread. Maybe not
Crusty bread?
Crusty
Like
bread.
some sourdough? Some
Yeah.
sourdough crusty
Yeah.
bread? Well, you know what I like, Matt?
Blanky time?
No, I like
Oh.
Grateful coffee.
Yeah, me too, man. It's pretty good.
Tell me a little bit more
a little
about
biased.
You're biased.
I am biased, but grateful coffee. Sources the best coffee in the world, roasts it in small batches, delivers it directly to you within days. So you always get the freshest, best tasting beans. We also partner with nonprofits in Guatemala. We do community building, feeding programs, education initiatives. Your coffee can change the world. We believe it, and we're committed to showing people how. So if you're interested, you want to know more about Grateful, you can find out at grateful.coffee. That's our website and our social handles. So check us out.
Do it.
You know what I like?
What do you like, Matt?
Oak nuts.
Oak nuts?
Yeah.
Oak nuts are pretty cool. You can make flour out of them. You can tan hides with it. You can plant a tree with them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. But what I love even more than Oak Nuts is Oak Nut Workshop.
Oh man, Oak Nut Workshop. Now that's the place to be. If you want some high quality custom goods made by a spiffy youngster that hyperfixates on too many things, Oak Nut Workshop is where you want to be. They make custom leather goods. They make custom woodworking goods. They make custom metal and blacksmith goods. So, where do you think they can find the ethereal Oak Nut Workshop?
Oh man, I believe it on the webs, on the interwebs. Maybe at oaknutworkshop.com.
Yeah, you can probably find it there.
Maybe on the social channels at Oak Nut Workshop.
Yeah, I think that might do it.
That would be the place to look then.
I'm personally interested. I definitely need to look this up.
I'm gonna go right now and look.
Cool. Ad.
Ad is over. The ad is over. Oh. Well, Stone, this has been fun. Learning about lies.
Yes.
And,
Little white lies. I'm the rumor weed.
Oh, dude, great movie.
That is a
great
good one.
movie. The rumor weed.
Hey, boy. Are you
And
cold?
The fib.
The
Do I look
fib?
cold? I have to pee. That's all.
No, I'm getting cold.
Oh, well, you're sick. You're probably dying.
Yeah, this is the last thing that.
It's the last podcast, guys.
Yeah.
Stone, R.I.P.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Rumor weed was good, and
Yeah.
the fib one.
Which one's the fib one? Oh, that's the big blue one, right?
Yeah, where he
yeah,
tells
yeah.
like a little lie and then another little lie. Both are very fitting for this episode.
Yeah.
Go home, watch Larry Boy.
Yeah.
And the fib from outer space and the rumor weed. And you'll find out that our
Archibald
lies-
is a robot.
yeah, our lies can turn into
Ginormous blueberry things.
blueberry blobs from outer space
Yep.
that destroy everything around us.
But where the best place to be? It's not lying. It's not in outer space.
No, it's under a blankie with you, man.
It's under a blankie. Like having some good old blankie time. Cuddle up. Try to get warm. If you're cold. It's a good time.
It's a great time. You won't be sorry.
You might be sorry listening to this podcast.
No, man. It's
But-
a great podcast.
You won't be sorry having some blankie time. Get yourself some blankie time.
Blankie out.
Blankie out. Oh, that's a good riff.